Alright, so I'm starting this live video. I just found out there's a protest going on at my state capitol, so I rushed up here.
Your destination is on the left.
So this is another CPS event, speaking out about family courts, child protective services, corruption. I'm going to flip the camera around now. Yeah, here we are at the Capitol. From Massachusetts, Rhode Island, everywhere. Oh, it's atrocious. So can't miss an opportunity to stand up with you guys for this.
Yeah.
So
oh, is this
nice.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's got a yellow vest on.
Yeah.
I thought he was just one of the maintenance workers.
I thought the landscaper.
All right.
Yeah.
I tried to like write some stuff on it, but free pass to certain places, I guess. I think I work it. So anybody like noticed you guys in here? Anything?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've had
awesome.
Quite a few stop and talk and listen and.
Great. That's
yep,
awesome.
Some of them agree that they need to change.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Heather.
Nice to meet you. I'm Adam.
Hi, Adam.
It's great to meet some people from around here finally doing something.
I've been to OPEGA meetings, like
awesome.
I've had a voice. Like,
awesome.
We need, we have to protect our kids. We have to protect our rights.
And I think a lot
absolutely.
of people in this world really don't know because I was oblivious to all of this.
A lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know all this was.
And like the craziest thing for me, like I was adopted and I went through all kinds of awful stuff from that, and I didn't even realize how bad it was.
Right, the children need to have a voice too.
Absolutely.
My daughter is like, she wanted to be here. She's like, Mom, I want to go. I asked the guardian ad litem.
That's what happened to me.
And she's like, absolutely not until the case is over.
But it's freedom of speech. She has a legal right.
Like I was abused as a kid.
I'm not gonna piss my
and what happened to me, I told my teacher, hey, like my parents are hitting me, like they're doing all this awful stuff. Oh, your kid has problems. Give him some pills.
Yep.
And it just ruined years of my life. They don't listen.
No, my daughter on it. She was in fault.
Yeah, you can just throw some money at it, and there you go. No one cares.
They had 27 kids die since 2017 in DHHS.
Jesus. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. And some of them were considered accidental death, crib death.
Unknown causes.
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God.
No,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. No,
I think
if they make it past the age of 2, they said that they're 100% out of it. That's been scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the cause of before you're
And when someone has night terrors,
Sounds to me like someone paid someone off.
because they're taking a
Well, the government pays
and I was blamed
the state and gives them money
Right.
to steal our kids. And then so they need more and more and more money all the time.
Yeah. Every time they remove a kid from the home, they get money. When they're adopted out, they get even more money.
Right.
They get paid
That's what
every
the case
stage
is.
of
We
the process.
we did like a little circle of truth down there, and I was just watching these videos of like family testimonials. There's like one family, they got $12,000 a month to care for a disabled kid, and it starved to death. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Don't blame that guy. Don't blame CPS. It's an accident.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you even explain that?
What blows my mind out of all of this stuff is that the Democratic Party will
Right.
sit there and push so much for all the illegals that are coming into the country. Don't separate these kids from their parents. These kids can't be separated from their parents. But yet with American citizens, they're like, we need to go get more money. Let's go in and take them.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's
It's
all
terrible.
It's money racket.
Yeah, everything comes down to money.
Money
Money
they
and
get
votes.
for our children could be going to us.
Yeah.
Young single mothers, struggling parents.
What they could do is they could actually start up, I've done all the research and put it all together. What they can actually end up doing is they can start up a foundation, kind of like Super Nanny, where they can actually have someone come into your house and say, hey, either I come in, I move into your house for the next month,
Right.
or you guys can go and deal with the state.
Yeah.
Right.
They easily can do this. And if they end up choosing to go with the private organization for that 1 month, 2 shifts running 12 hours just to oversee and guide and help the families out,
but they
It would
pay for
cost
you.
them 1/16 of the budget that they're pushing right now.
Right,
Wow, that's a
they
good
pay
idea.
To have you see
don't
your
care about it.
kids.
They don't want
like,
to.
they outsource everything.
Yeah.
They don't help you get stuff. And what you can give from them, like you're supposed to have transportation. Well, yeah, the taxis don't show
Right.
up. They're late. You know, they don't come knock on your door. They don't call you. You just have to know they're there. Or if you have your own transportation, you have to jump through hoops to get all this money that
Oh, yeah.
you're owed. Like, I can't say, like, I have too much. I'm just getting my kids back. I can't
Right.
sit and fucking write out, you know, every little trip I do, which I travel up and down the mid-coast to get for my kids.
Right.
Weekly. Like, now my daughter's finally with my mother and my boys are coming back to me. But they're
Awesome.
still making me do counseling and IOP down in freaking Brunswick. I'm
God.
from Camden. That's all.
That's crazy,
every
too.
Week. I did 3 rounds of IOP. One of them was 16 weeks. And then I failed. They wanted me to go to a higher level of care.
Jesus.
No. That's what I wanted in the first place. I asked for that. I asked for them to send me to rehab. They won't. No, you have to fail this. And then by the time I was happy in my life, I found him the love of my life. He's helped me get through all this. Like, he's amazing. And he wants to be the dad to my kids. And I'm proud of that. But we still have to pay for our kids. It's tough. Like, everything we go through, the hoops we have to jump through to make them happy. They can't tell us you need to do A, B, and C and you're going to get your kids back.
Right.
It's like you have to do A, and then, oh, well, A didn't work, so let's do this, and this. Oh, those didn't work, let's go here.
Well, I sat here and I started out with going through, and I told a police officer, Greenville Police Department, I told the police officer that came up, I said, you know what, my daughter's not right. She can't be allowed back in this house. She can't be allowed around her siblings. I said, I can't have her in the house. He says, I can put in an emergency placement for you. I said, so that's with the state. And he said, yeah. He said, that's directly through the state. And I said, well, hopefully they'll get her to a mental hospital and get her help. They turned around, and that was on Friday. On Monday, they came back out Monday evening and took all of my children out of the home. When I was asking for the state for help.
When we ask for
Now
help,
they're
they deny
blackmailing.
it. They won't give us help.
No.
I asked for help for my daughter because she had ADHD, and she's like, and she has PTSD from her dad leaving and everything. Like, this kid's been screwed up, and they've screwed her up more. They sent her to Fort Kent, 6 hours away. She was tied down for 10 days.
Jesus.
She didn't learn a thing. They didn't teach her a thing. They would have been better sending her to South Portland to Spring Harbor. Like, and that's what I asked for, but no. She was in their custody, so they had the right to do what they want.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I ended up in Spring Harbor, all the pills, and you're crazy. All the other kids in there were foster care kids that just didn't want to go back to the homes. They'd rather be in a psych ward than that.
Exactly. I'd rather go to a psych ward than go to rehab.
I've never had daily medication until DHS ended up stepping in and taking my kids.
I have
They
so many.
tried to medicate me falsely to shut me up and
Yep.
keep the truth out for
Exactly.
Jamie Dennis. And if it weren't for the case manager witness right next to me, she'd have had me medicated right now, and none of this
Fight
truth
for
would
our
be out.
That's right.
Fight
None
for
of this
our
would be
parental
out.
children rights.
I let them
I have over
medicate it, and
20
then the
years
hospital
that I can document. My daughter was illegally
first
put in a
antidepressants
foster
they
home
put me
behind
on,
my
I ended up
back. Her
getting
and 10
lockjaw
kids were
and-
molested, and nothing was done about it.
That's
When I finally
awful.
got custody of her,
My jaw was hurting
years
every day.
later,
I was
they
grinding
try
my
to
teeth.
steal my
Terrible, right?
grandchildren
It was horrible.
with a false statement that nobody said, and 2 things that were already thrown out of a Massachusetts court as hearsay admissible evidence. They stole my grandchildren, and 4 days later, my 18-month-old granddaughter has a lump the size of a Klingon from Star Trek on her head. Savannah Charette takes her to the doctors days later and tries to pass it off as a bug bite because she got bit by a mingy bug. But in the paperwork, in my audio recording that I have against Savannah Charette, she admits that the child was hurt and the state paid for daycare. How can we live in a country where you have pictures and audio,
Right.
and we're still out here instead of home with our children and grandchildren?
God, that's
These
awful.
people need to be brought to justice.
Amen. I'm so sorry to hear that.
They just forced my wife. They used my children as blackmail. Yesterday, my wife in court in the Dover County Court, she admitted to going ahead with filing for divorce to try to get my kids back in the home. First, they tried to get us to separate. We filed the paperwork for separation. Neither one of our attorneys filed the paperwork for the separation because their main goal was DHHS wanted us to be divorced. They already had her kick me out of the house, and she's absolutely devastated daily.
God.
Because this is not what she wants. It's not what I want. But we're willing to actually get a divorce if it means my kids getting out of the foster care. Right now we are discovering that my 3-year-old twins are possibly being molested. I filed a claim with DHS, and then our caseworker and the guardian ad litem, Tanya Johnson, sat there in court yesterday and said that they don't believe my story and they think that I'm fabricating it just to get attention.
Sounds like what they do.
It
Yeah.
is. That's what they do. It's not us. It's them.
So
The lies
crazy.
and the... I'm going to show you my song, what I rewrote. It's, you know the song Zombies by Cranberries?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'd sing it, but I have no voice. I've had to learn to.
Right.
So, yeah, I have a page too. You can take it. I can send that to you if you have an email or Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Or find my page. It's no more. It's Maine Families Against DHS, OCFS.
Children speaking. Yeah, that's really good.
My
like
daughter,
that.
you can't even imagine. My daughter is so musical. She picked up playing the flute in a day
Oh, wow.
while in foster care. Like, she's got a lot of amazing stuff in foster care, but the
Right.
stuff she's gone through, you know, going to being sick.
That's-
She was taken 12 days after the Jeopardy order and
Jesus.
put into foster care. The judge didn't sign anything. DHS made that decision on their own.
That's crazy.
She was here for 2 days and started writing suicidal notes and told the foster mother. They
God.
waited a day and then sent her to Fort Kent, tied down for 6 hours.
God.
She was there for 10 days. My mother and I took her car and went up and slept in the car the whole time she was there so we could be there with her, but they wouldn't let us in half the time. It was per
Terrible.
DHS. Hey, mind you, this is January. It's -9 degrees. We're
God.
sleeping in a car, and the one truck stop there is up there.
God.
They didn't teach my daughter a thing. She came back. She's like, that was stupid. Oh, they treated her for lice every day. Wait, we just went through about a lice at my house, and DHS made me treat my boys 3 times in 4 days. 3 times. The sores my daughter has on her head from it is insane. My boys, luckily they haven't got anything yet from it, but treating them 3 times in 4 days because they say so, because I don't have medical rights. No. Why can't I say what's going to happen to my children? What happens, what I do?
Right? Ugh. I can't even imagine. It's awful.
Now, luckily, I've gone through all this. I've jumped through all their hoops. And my daughter's with my mother for now. Yeah, we're set. DHS is giving her, this is another thing you guys should look into. It's, yeah, now I can't think of the name of it. I can't remember. There's another part where, like, somebody can take, that's been in your child's life, can take the role of your parent. No, not a guardian. It's, God, I can't remember it now. It's making me mad. But it was suggested and my mother did it. But she had to take my Jeopardy to get my daughter.
That's crazy.
She's had to jump through the hoops to get my daughter.
See, that's just
She's
not
had
right.
to drug test and go to counseling and this and that and everything else. I get tested by IOP. When I get the call from them to go, no. No, I get tested already. You get that. I don't need to test anymore.
One voice can save hundreds of children.
Save our children!
One voice inside there can save hundreds of children from being hurt, abused, and neglected by
Families are forever.
I'd love to get together with my daughter.
Anytime.
One voice inside this building. That's all we need is one voice to stand for us in defense of children being hurt, neglected,
Yeah,
and
it's,
abused by DHS.
There's lots of
All
us
of us
out
here
there.
have stories. All of us here have proof of what we're saying. All we need is one voice inside this legislature to listen to us.
Nice.
One voice
He's
to
gonna
hear
work with
our
me and I'm gonna
evidence.
get into know.
One voice
Awesome.
to
I'm
prove
about
that
ready to go live with all this
DHHS
stuff, so I
is
wasn't sure.
corrupt.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. Whatever we can do.
This isn't the
And I love the fact that you were in foster care and you're here to like.
I was
You
actually
know.
adopted, so like,
Right.
and that was like what I've been trying to raise awareness is that there's that whole system too.
Right.
You know, and a lot of the times it's just as bad.
It
Like
is.
the people with all the money, they
Right.
buy a kid,
Yeah,
no,
right,
they're
exactly.
gone.
It's trafficking children. It's legal kidnapping.
Hey,
Oh
To
yeah,
have
that
our
kid live this.
oh yeah.
But
And,
do we get paid to have
And I
kids?
The mother that has my granddaughter,
yeah.
she told me that she would collect
All
those
of us
benefits
here
for
have
her
evidence against DHS.
until she's 18 or 21 and she
Yeah.
goes to college, and they even have a college
Not as
fund
long as you get
Oh wow.
for adopted children.
And like for me, I spent my whole life not even knowing who my parents were. I didn't know I had siblings out there. They wouldn't tell me anything. I came from Arkansas, and the law, you have to actually fly out there, petition the court, pay all this money just to find out who your family is. And I could never even get out there. And the craziest thing was someone on Facebook found them for me. They have these people called like search angels on Facebook, and they found my parents in like 2 hours. I had like 3 brothers, a grandparents, uncles, this huge family. And
Never knew about
I lived 30 years not knowing anything about where I came from.
I was in this system my whole life.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that
They
was
shipped
adopted,
me out home to
and
Georgia.
he went through the same thing.
Yeah.
He believed until he was 16 years old, he believed that his adopted parents, my father's cousin and his wife,
Right.
were his parents, him and his sister.
Oh wow.
And at 16 years old,
And then finally at 16,
he found out, and it was actually not even through his adopted parents, it was through the school.
All right,
Right.
anybody want to
He
share
found
a
out
story
that
on
he was
the
adopted.
Maine
And still, like,
libertarian
you know, like in
And he
hindsight,
still, to this day,
you have
he's
it right
in his
there?
50s.
right?
And to this day, he still
nothing to fucking hide, my friend.
has
Let's do
regrets
this.
because when he did find out who his parents were, his father was in prison for life.
Right.
His mother had passed away.
God, that's
So
that's
he didn't
terrible.
even get to even
Yeah.
see his real parents.
See, and that's like the worst part about like the whole adoption system is like even without the abuse, it's traumatizing. But then most people still see the abuse and all.
When you have
You're
a
in the
child
system.
that- my granddaughter lived with me for a year.
Yeah.
Before that year, from the time she was 5 months old until she was a year and a half,
We're still protesting.
I had her probably
We also
75%
got our
of
good
the
friends
time.
over here.
Every weekend,
Yep.
2 or 3 nights
Yellow
during
vest.
the week. Okay,
Represent.
and then I had her full time. When my
We have
son
a few stories
signed his rights
that people would
away,
like to actually hear.
and that's the way I put it because that's what he did. The caseworker told him that his brother was going to be adopting his daughter, so he didn't mind signing those papers, that
Right.
paperwork. But then they turned around and totally ignored his brother that had already been approved by an ICPC.
God.
And they took her away from me
That's crazy.
and put her in her daycare. I had her for 2 weeks short of a year. If I had had her for a year, I could have adopted her. And before that, we were talking about me adopting her.
God. That's,
And all of a sudden, she was sick. I lost my job because I stayed home and took care of her. And they turned around and took her out of my house because I couldn't afford her anymore.
God, that's, yeah, see, that,
Never offered to give me a hand,
yeah.
nothing.
And it's like completely backwards. All of these things are supposed to be for the best interest of the
And this
child, and they're
is
all just ruins
Just
them.
what it says there. She was all smiles when she was with the family, all the time, the happiest kid you'd want to meet. And now when I see her on visits, when I ask her if I can take her picture, it's a forced smile.
Right.
It's not one of those smiles.
Yeah, and you know, That's what happened to me just growing up with the idea, oh, well, my parents didn't want me, and then I'm adopted in this family, they adopt another kid, so it's like, okay, now these parents don't want me either, you think you're worthless. I knew I had nothing wrong with me other than the fact that it's like, this situation sucks, and no one's listening to me.
The one she lives with was the daycare that I put her in because the caseworker suggested it would be more convenient because it was across the street from me.
Yeah.
After they took her away, I had been renting from my brother.
Yeah.
And the caseworker called my brother, and my brother evicted me.
Jesus.
Because she came up with stuff about his family, his kids. He had been divorced twice.
And on Tuesday, when we
the caseworker knew all about this, and he blamed me for overstepping his privacy and telling her this, which I never did. She found this out on her own.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. They can all work together and collude behind this
apartment and everything. And I said the only reason I lost that apartment is because they didn't want me living across the street from her.
Yeah, and see, that's my other big issue is like everyone losing the apartments. That's just as corrupt too. And just in talking to people in the family courts, like how easy it is for somebody to call a landlord, make a false complaint, and then the landlord kicks them out. And they do it to the mothers down in New Jersey all the time. They'll, their ex or whatever will call the landlord, blah, 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 she's doing this, whatever. They kick them out of the apartment, and they just keep getting evicted after eviction.
Well, you can't take a child if you're homeless.
Yeah. And I think that's a big piece of it.
And that's what they did. And I put it down on record that I was homeless.
And I've noticed that with the landlords. It's just like the CPS. They can go into court. This person did this. I said they did it. And they'll kick them right out. And it's not a matter of like, can you defend yourself and keep the apartment? It's how much time are they going to give you till the eviction?
When you have a child that hasn't lived with the grandmother for a year and a half.
Yep.
And she has a visit after not seeing her grandmother for 3 months. And at the end of the visit, she has an emotional breakdown, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs in the parking lot of the DHS office. I don't want to go back there. I want to go home with you.
Right?
Wrapped her arms around my neck, would not let go. And she wouldn't even let go when I had her in the supervisor's car, in the car seat. Had her strapped in, and she still had a hold of me.
God.
And I heard her screaming out of the parking lot and down the street that day.
I just like, how do they ignore that?
The supervisor called me up, and she said, I'm going to let the caseworker know because this shows how close of a tie you have to your granddaughter.
Yeah.
And you'll probably get more visits. Well, that's what I thought was going to happen. They stopped my visits for 4 months. And that was to break the tie that I had with her.
God. Wow. I don't have words for that. That's insane.
And she lives across the street from my brother, but I don't go to my brother's house.
Right.
Because I don't want to go have her see me and run across the street to see me.
Right.
She knows my car. She knows what I look like. And I'm
Check
afraid
out
that if I'm
Silent No
standing in
More
my
against
brother's yard
DHHS on
talking to him,
Facebook.
and she comes out into the yard over there,
It does
she
matter
may
if
run
everybody
across the
sticks
street.
together.
And if I'm not supposed to see her, it's going to make it all the worse.
God, that's terrible. Right.
When I was 12 years old, I found my grandmother murdered, and DHS put me back in my mother's care.
Yep.
And my mother was really young when she had me. She was 13. By the time they put me back in her care, she was close to 26, but she already had 3 other children.
Yeah.
So she couldn't handle me, she said. She gave me to DHS, and DHS's solution was to put me in a juvenile shelter, which I ran away from because it wasn't my house.
Right.
And so they put me in an adult jail for 16 days, and then committed me to the Maine Youth Center.
God.
Because they didn't have a placement for someone that was going to run away.
And someone I know actually just sued the Maine Youth Center and won. I guess I never actually ended up in there, but I heard that there was tons of abuse going on in there, and a lot of people are saying they should just get rid of it at this point.
Yeah, and
that's awful.
Yeah, it's crazy because they now that I got children, they're trying to use my past against me because I've been in trouble before, and but they won't use any of the stuff that they've done. They're willing to go back as long as they can, as far as they can, to use stuff against me that I've done wrong.
God,
but they won't own up to any of their own stuff.
That's insane. Yeah. Ugh. So this has got to stop.
I'll openly admit that I'm no angel. I've done stuff wrong in my past, but my wife has never done anything illegal or anything, and they won't even let her have the children. They're at an in-law's house.
That's crazy. I'm pretty sure everyone's made a mistake at some point in their life.
Yeah. They say, I don't want to get all biblical or anything, but
It's all
ye
good.
without sin cast the first stone. And
Right.
there isn't anyone from DHS is going to line up to throw a stone. I guarantee it.
Right.
What are they going to get? A bunch of their DHS worker friends to all say something against me?
Thank you for coming. Claire.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for doing this. It's so important.
You on Facebook now? Or?
Yeah. Do you want to say anything? I'm on live right now.
All it takes is one voice, one lawyer out there. One lawyer who has the gumption to protect children. That's all we're asking for. Just give us one lawyer that's willing to stand for us, that won't charge us thousands of dollars.
Right.
I don't get no state help. I don't get no Section 8. All I have is a physical disability check that I earned. It wasn't given to me. And I'm standing here today in defense of my grandchildren. I don't get state help. I don't get Section 8. My whole check goes to my rent, my phone, and my car insurance. We need lawyers. These people take advantage of the fact that most of us can't afford a lawyer.
Right.
You know, and to have Jamie Dennis try to falsely medicate me, you see that stuff in movies too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really scary. The abuse of power that these people exercise against us.
They do it to the kids too.
One lawyer sees this and is willing to stand up. He'll be the most famous lawyer since OJ's.
That's a true statement. Oh yeah.
I'm sure could help from a lawyer to get your kids back.
Accountable for their actions.
That's just it. There's no services in place to hold them accountable. And the other thing I'd like to point out, I said it the other day and some of these people have heard me, when they come and take a child, there's instantly money there for the foster family, there's instantly transportation if they need it. Everything those foster families need, they get.
Right.
What about the people who are trying to get ahead and get off this? Give that money to some of these victims and some of these abused women who are trying to get off the system in the first place.
Right.
Give that money to them, and I guarantee you at least 85% of them will become productive members of society and not relying on the state to support them.
Yeah.
All the money that's generated by foster families and foster parents and foster services,
It's a
all
Ponzi
that
scheme.
money it's a waste. The foster family now, in order to be a foster family, you have to be of a certain tax bracket. That's the best way to put it.
Right.
So why did they get all this extra money if they're already supposedly financially well off enough to be foster parents?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, you have to meet certain criteria to be a foster parent.
Huh.
So why are you getting the money and not the mother who needs the help?
Right.
I guarantee you right now, my daughter, if they didn't do what they did to my daughter, she was already signed up, ready to do an eight-month course and become a phlebotomist. I was childcare. I was transportation and childcare.
Yeah.
Now that the state made up something about me, I can't do that for her.
Oh, that's
They
terrible.
totally fabricated something and took advantage of someone who didn't know their rights.
Right. God.
And the people that are making these cases, most of the people at DHS aren't even mothers. I can't tell a woman what it's like to be raped because I've never been raped. How does a woman who's never had children get to make judgment on whether you're a good mother or not? Just because I read a few books about the mob doesn't make me a hitman. Although I am Italian, so it doesn't make me a hitman if I read books about the mob. It doesn't make them qualified to make judgments on mothers if they're not a mother. And I'm pretty sure that anybody seeing this would probably say I make some valid sense.
Oh yeah, yep, they do. Oh, it's a good point.
How can you can't drive a car without a license. You can't,
Oh, honestly, it seems to me like they just hire heartless people that their skill is just not caring if they cause pain and suffering.
There's a practice called psychosynamy.
Okay.
PSYCHOPSAMY.
Yep.
It's basically they try to get you to say what they want to fit the narrative they've got written down. Almost like if you took an ad-libs and just fill in the words with whatever.
It's like coaching a statement like the police do sometimes.
Yes, basically, and that's what they do. And it all generates funds for them.
God.
What's sad is there's an actual word and term that these DHS workers use to generate funds.
Yeah, that is sad.
Yeah, that's twisted.
Right? Wow. That's awful.
All it takes is one voice to save hundreds from being hurt.
Save our kids!
Do you care about your kids' constituents?
Worker who took my son made over $100,000 that year. Yep. They get paid to take your kids. Well, and it's pretty sad.
I asked for help.
Tobias
I asked the
like
copper
telling
help
about
to have my
his worker, and I
daughter,
was like,
my
oh,
sister,
that
now
one?
16
Like,
year
I
old
knew
daughter.
exactly as soon as he started
I was
mentioning
asking
it.
for her to be removed from the home because she's a threat. So they ended up.
All it takes is one voice inside these walls. One voice to stand for us and hundreds of children that were hurt by DHS. I wouldn't be here if I did not have audio and pictures to prove DHS corruption and lying and hurting children. I would not be here today. It's sad that I do have pictures and audio. Jamie Dennis tried to medicate me falsely to keep the truth from coming out. Jamie Dennis is a supervisor of supervisors at CPS. She tried to falsely medicate me.
You can help many of us, Julian. And we're not money makers.
It's a little display they got here. You guys can see what they got set out here.
MacArthur have lied and cover up children abused by DHS.
Our kids are being abused in foster care.
The Department of Health and Human Services is corrupt.
I think everything inside that building's corrupt at this point.
Yes, sir. Pretty much. Amen to that.
God.
Government overreach has come too far.
Well, just a little bit.
You know what? The sad part about government reach is it doesn't come around enough to tickle my balls. Excuse my French.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, they come at you from behind and they don't even give you the common courtesy of a reach.
Right. That's just my point.
Oh, man.
It's like they at least could help me out a little bit.
Right.
I'll get my time back.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna
Fighting for our children.
I think I'm gonna end this video for now. I'll probably go live again in a few. But thank you everyone for tuning in. And please share. Anybody who's watched this, please get this into the groups so people can see that we are actually doing something. We need to stick together and stand up, and hopefully that will be enough to force some kind of change. But we're not going away. Thank you.